Hey there, welcome back to the channel. You know that feeling when someone you used to love sends you that text at 2 a.m. Your heart races, your hands shake, and suddenly you're right back where they want you, spinning in their chaos, dancing to their tune, giving them exactly what they crave most. Your reaction. But what if I told you there's a way to flip that script completely? What if your silence could become so powerful that it leaves them scrambling, confused and completely powerless over you? Right now, they're probably thinking they still own a piece of your mind. They believe one message, one call, one innocent question through a mutual friend can pull you back into their web. They're counting on your emotions to betray you. They're betting that you'll crack. Here's what they don't know. You're about to become untouchable. The ancient Stoics faced betrayal, heartbreak, and people who tried to destroy them emotionally. Yet they discovered something that modern psychology is just catching up to. Silence isn't just golden, it's devastating to those who need your chaos to feed their ego. Today, I'm sharing 7 game-changing strategies that will show you exactly how to use your silence as a weapon they never saw coming. These aren't feel-good platitudes. These are psychological warfare tactics disguised as inner peace. By the end of this video, you'll understand why Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." More importantly, you'll know exactly how to use that power to make them realize they've lost you forever, without saying a single word. But first, I want you to drop this in the comments. My silence is louder than their desperation. Let's destroy their illusion of control, starting with the first strategy that changes everything. Number 1, your silence exposes their emotional addiction to you. Here's something that'll blow your mind. When they keep reaching out, keep trying to start fights, keep checking in on you, they're not doing it because they care. They're doing it because they're addicted to the emotional high they get from your reactions. Think about it. During your time together, they learned exactly which buttons to push to get you fired up. They memorized your triggers like a drug dealer memorizes their client's weaknesses. Your anger was their cocaine. Your tears were their heroin. Your desperation to be understood was their favorite high. Epictetus knew this game well when he said, "No one can hurt you without your permission." Every time you respond to their bait, you're basically handing them another hit of their favorite drug, your emotional chaos. But when you go silent, when you don't react to their "I saw something that reminded me of you" text, when you don't defend yourself against their subtle digs on social media, you're cutting off their supply, and just like any addict, they start getting desperate. I watched this happen with someone whose ex would send them paragraphs about how much they missed them, followed by cruel messages about how they were impossible to love. For months, they'd swing between hope and devastation, writing back novels explaining their feelings. They were their ex's personal emotional roller coaster. The day they stopped responding, something incredible happened. Their ex's messages got longer, more frequent, more desperate. They started messaging their friends. They began showing up places they knew they'd be. Why? Because they'd cut off their drug supply and they were going through withdrawal. Your silence forces them to face a terrifying reality. They no longer have the power to control your emotional state. That's when they realize they've actually lost you, not just physically, but emotionally too. Next time they try to bait you, count to 10 and ask yourself, "Am I going to be their drug dealer today?" The answer should always be no. Number 2, silence forces them to confront their own toxic behavior. You want to know something beautiful about staying quiet? It makes them hear themselves clearly, probably for the first time in their life. And trust me, They don't like what they hear. When someone's used to your reactions covering up their bad behavior, your silence becomes like a spotlight on their actions. Suddenly, there's no drama to distract from how they're actually treating you. There's no argument to shift blame onto. There's just them, their behavior, and the deafening quiet of your refusal to participate. Seneca understood this when he wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Your silence marks the end of them, using your reactions to justify their actions, and the beginning of them having to own their choices completely. Picture this: they send you a message designed to hurt you. In the past, you would have fired back, maybe said something you regretted, and suddenly the conversation became about your reaction instead of their cruelty. But now there's just their mean message sitting there, looking exactly as petty and cruel as it actually is. I know someone whose ex would constantly criticize everything about them, their job, their friends, their family, but always in a way that seemed like concern. When they'd get upset and defend themselves, their ex would say they were too sensitive and couldn't handle feedback. The day they stopped defending themselves, everything changed. Their ex's criticism just hung in the air with no response. Within weeks, even their ex could hear how nasty they sounded. Their ex's own mother called them out after witnessing one of their unprovoked comments about their ex's career. Without their emotional reaction to hide behind, their ex's behavior looked exactly like what it was: toxic and unacceptable. Your silence doesn't just protect you, it holds up a mirror to their soul, and most people can't stand what they see reflected back. Let their words stand alone. Don't give them your reaction to hide behind. Let everyone, including them, see their behavior for exactly what it is. Number 3, your quiet confidence makes them question everything. This one's going to hurt them more than any argument ever could. When you stop trying to convince them of your worth, when you stop explaining yourself, when you just exist peacefully without their chaos, you become a living reminder of everything they threw away. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "How much trouble he avoids who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does." When you stop monitoring their every move, stop reacting to their every provocation, you become mysteriously powerful in a way that drives them absolutely crazy. See, they expected you to fall apart without them. They expected you to beg, to chase, to prove how much you needed them in your life. Your silence suggests something terrifying to them, that maybe you're actually better off without them. There's something magnetic about someone who doesn't need validation from people who treated them poorly. While they're creating drama and chaos everywhere they go, you're just living your life peacefully. The contrast is striking, and everyone notices it. Think about it from their perspective. They probably told themselves stories about why things ended. Maybe they convinced themselves you were too much or too needy or couldn't handle them. But your calm, quiet strength contradicts every story they told themselves to feel better about losing you. Your silence makes them wonder, what if I was wrong about them? What if they're actually happier without me? What if I made the biggest mistake of my life? These thoughts eat at them because your peaceful energy suggests that all their chaos was actually the problem, not you. You're not trying to prove anything to them, which ironically proves everything. Focus on building a life so fulfilling that you genuinely don't have time for their drama. When your silence comes from genuine contentment rather than anger, it becomes absolutely devastating to their ego. Number 4, silence reveals who they really are to everyone watching. Here's something they didn't count on. When you stop engaging with their attempts to drag you into drama, everyone around you gets a clear view of what's really happening, and the picture isn't pretty for them. Epictetus taught, Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Your silence embodies strength, maturity, and self-respect. Their continued attempts to provoke you, they embody desperation, immaturity, and an inability to move forward. Mutual friends start noticing patterns. They see them constantly bringing up your name. They watch them create drama where none existed. They witness the stark difference between someone who's moved on, you, and someone who clearly hasn't, them. Social dynamics are everything, and your silence shifts the entire narrative. Instead of looking like a victim of the situation, you start looking like the mature one who's handling things with class. Meanwhile, they start looking like they can't let go. I've seen this play out countless times. The person who stays quiet and dignified after things end always comes out looking better. The one who keeps trying to set the record straight or make people understand ends up looking desperate and obsessive. Your silence doesn't just protect your reputation, it destroys theirs. Not because you're trying to hurt them, but because their own behavior, when not hidden behind your reactions, speaks for itself. People respect strength. They respect someone who can walk away from chaos with their head held high. They lose respect for someone who can't stop picking at wounds that should be healing. The beautiful thing is, you don't have to campaign for yourself. Your quiet dignity does all the talking you need. Let your peace speak louder than their chaos ever could. When people ask you about what happened, keep it simple. We weren't right for each other, and I'm focusing on moving forward. That's it. Let your actions show your character while their behavior reveals theirs. Number 5. Your silence protects your energy from their emotional vampirism. Listen carefully because this one's crucial. They feed off your emotional energy like a vampire feeds off blood. Every reaction you give them, every tear you shed over their behavior, every sleepless night you spend thinking about their latest move, that's your life force they're consuming. Seneca knew this when he said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Your emotional energy is finite and precious. When you waste it on someone who's already shown you they don't deserve it, you're literally giving away pieces of your soul. Think about how drained you feel after any interaction with them, how exhausted you are after reading their messages, analyzing their social media posts, or hearing about them through mutual friends. That's not coincidence. That's energy theft. But here's what happens when you go silent. All that energy you are pouring into their drama stays with you. Suddenly, you have bandwidth for things that actually matter. You can invest in friendships that lift you up. You can pursue goals you put on hold. You can focus on healing and growing instead of constantly reacting and defending. Your silence creates an energetic boundary they can't cross. They can send all the manipulative messages they want, but if you're not reading them, they're just screaming into the void. They can post cryptic things on social media, but if you're not watching, they're performing for an audience of one. I know someone who realized they were spending 3 to 4 hours a day dealing with their ex's emotional chaos, reading their messages, crafting responses, talking to friends about what they said, checking their social media for clues about their state of mind. When they added it up, they were giving their ex more time and energy than they gave to their actual job. The day they blocked their ex everywhere and committed to silence, they suddenly had those hours back. They started exercising again. They reconnected with friends they'd neglected. They began working on projects they'd abandoned. Their life became fuller and richer because they weren't constantly bleeding energy into a black hole. Do an energy audit. Write down every minute you spend thinking about them, checking up on them, or dealing with their drama. You'll be shocked at how much of your life they're still consuming. Then reclaim every single one of those minutes for yourself. Number 6. Silence makes you unpredictable and therefore powerful. They think they know you. They think they've got your patterns figured out. They know exactly what to say to make you angry, what buttons to push to get you defensive, what topics will pull you into their chaos. Your predictability was their power over you, but when you choose silence instead of your usual reactions, you become a mystery they can't solve. And mystery is power. Marcus Aurelius understood this principle when he wrote, "Observe constantly that all things take place by change." When you change your patterns, you change the entire dynamic. They're left guessing, wondering, and ultimately powerless because their old playbook no longer works. This unpredictability is deeply unsettling for someone who needs to control others to feel secure. They count on your reactions to feel like they still matter to you. When those reactions disappear, they lose their compass for navigating your emotions. They might escalate their behavior at first, trying different tactics to get the familiar responses they're used to. But when silence is your consistent answer to every provocation, they eventually realize that their old strategies are useless. Your unpredictability forces them to confront something they probably never expected, that you've evolved beyond their ability to manipulate. You're no longer the person who could be easily triggered or controlled. You've become someone entirely new, someone they don't understand. This is terrifying for people who need to feel like they can predict and control others. Your silence suggests that you've moved into a different league entirely, one where their juvenile tactics have no power. Think of it like this: they're still playing checkers while you've moved on to chess. Your silence isn't just a defensive move, it's a strategic position that gives you complete control over the game. Develop a standard response to all their attempts at contact. It could be complete silence, or it could be something neutral like, "I hope you're well," followed by no further engagement. The key is consistency. They need to learn that no matter what they try, your response will be the same: calm, controlled, and completely unreactive to their chaos. Number 7. Your silence teaches them about consequences and respect. This final strategy is the most important because it sets the foundation for how people will treat you for the rest of your life. Your silence isn't just about them, it's about establishing standards for how you allow people to treat you. When you consistently respond to poor treatment with dignified silence, you're teaching a powerful lesson: disrespect gets you nothing from me. You're showing them that access to your emotional world is a privilege that must be earned through respectful behavior. Epictetus said, "No one can hurt you without your permission." Your silence is you withdrawing that permission permanently. You're showing them that their words, their games, and their attempts at manipulation no longer have any impact on your inner peace. This lesson extends far beyond just them. Everyone who witnesses your response to their behavior learns something about your standards. Future partners see that you don't tolerate disrespect. Friends learn that drama doesn't work with you. Family members understand that you have boundaries that must be respected. Your silence after mistreatment isn't passive. It's one of the most active things you can do. You're actively choosing your peace over their chaos. You're actively protecting your energy. You're actively demonstrating that you value yourself too much to engage with people who don't treat you well. The beautiful thing is that this standard you set through your silence attracts better people into your life. When you stop accepting scraps of affection mixed with disrespect, you create space for people who can offer you genuine care and consideration. I've watched people transform their entire social circle by simply refusing to engage with disrespectful behavior. When you stop being available for drama, drama stops being available to you. When you stop entertaining people who don't value you, you make room for those who do. Make a commitment to yourself that your silence is non-negotiable when it comes to disrespectful treatment. This isn't about being cold or cruel. It's about having enough self-respect to walk away from situations that diminish your worth. Every time you maintain your silence in the face of their attempts to pull you back into chaos, you're making a deposit in your self-respect account. Over time, these deposits compound into unshakable confidence and inner strength. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. Choosing silence when someone you once cared about is trying to hurt you isn't easy. Every fiber of your being might want to defend yourself, to explain your side, to make them understand how their behavior affects you. But here's what I need you to understand. Your silence isn't about them. It never was. It's about you reclaiming your power, protecting your energy, and refusing to let someone who already chose to hurt you continue doing damage to your peace. The Stoics faced betrayal, political persecution, exile, and heartbreak. They didn't have easy lives, but they discovered something that modern psychology confirms. Our inner world is the only thing we truly control. When we protect that inner world fiercely, we become unbreakable. Your silence is a declaration of independence. It's you saying, I refuse to let someone who doesn't value me control how I feel about myself. It's you choosing your own peace over their need for chaos. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, but he understood that the greatest battles are fought within our own minds. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That strength is yours right now." It doesn't matter how much they hurt you or how many times they try to pull you back into their drama. The moment you choose silence over reaction, peace over chaos, your own healing over their need for attention, that's the moment you win. And winning doesn't look like getting them back or making them understand or proving you were right all along. Winning looks like waking up one day and realizing you haven't thought about them in weeks. Winning looks like feeling genuinely happy for the first time in months. Winning looks like attracting people into your life who treat you the way you deserve to be treated. Your silence is creating space for all of that to happen. Every day you don't engage with their attempts to control you is another day you're building a life they can't touch. I want you to remember something. They're counting on you to break. They're betting that your love for them will make you compromise your self-respect. They believe that if they just push the right buttons, you'll come running back to the chaos they're offering. Prove them wrong. Stay silent. Stay strong. Stay focused on building a life so beautiful that their chaos looks pathetic by comparison. If this resonates with you, if you're ready to stop giving your power away to someone who doesn't deserve it, share this with someone who needs to hear it. There are people in your life right now who are bleeding energy into toxic situations, and you could be the one who shows them there's another way. Subscribe if you want more strategies for building unshakable inner strength and attracting the kind of love that actually lifts you up instead of tearing you down. Before you go, drop this in the comments. I choose my peace over their chaos, my silence over their noise, and my healing over their hurt. Your silence isn't just taking away their power over you. It's giving you back the power to create a life worthy of who you're becoming. And that person is someone they never deserved in the first place. Stay strong, stay silent, and keep building the life they'll spend years wishing they could have been part of.